Would you be happy to share what's the best piece of advice you ever had?
Yeah, but I think for me, particularly like I remember like in my first job in the UK, with EEF Manufacturers Organization, my manager Gary, and he once said to me, he's like, Amisha, you're just trying to box yourself into the environment and trying to be someone that you're not. He's really, and he still remains one of my mentors. Like
Hmm.
literally, I don't think I'll ever go and make a big decision without consulting him first. But he basically said, you don't have to compromise who you are to fit in.
Wow.
You can still be successful professionally. We employed you because you do have a sense of humor. You are quite jovial, but it doesn't stop you from getting your work done. So just stop trying to suppress that, because that's worse. He just gave me that feedback, and that really has stuck with me, and it's really pulled me through situations where I have sometimes felt really quite uncomfortable,
Hmm.
or and not sure how I'm going to react. But it's also helped me identify environments which I know I'll be suited to and
Hmm.
can add value, and avoid ones which I wouldn't be. So I really, really value that advice.
But that's really good. Again, so how old were you when he kind of gave you that advice?
I would have been around 23 or 24.
Wow, amazing. Because it's that balance. I think when you go through the education system and you go through uni and stuff, and I still remember my first days in jobs, and you don't know what to do, you don't know how it works, and you just want to fit in, not get sacked, survive, hopefully do a good job. And again, that's really good. I like that. Who was the person who was the mentor?
And that was Gary Booton, who was the director of health, safety, environment, and climate change. And I worked with him for years there.
No, it sounds like
Yeah,
a,
just
a cool
brilliant.
guy. Because again, that's the other thing. When you do get a little bit older in your career, it's a conscious choice to want to mentor people and help them, because a lot of people don't. And I work with quite a few different businesses where, yeah, people go away and they do the job, but it's a special person that actually wants to give advice and sculpt and mold and help lift people up, because not everyone does. So when it does happen, it's really, really kind of cool. My next question is that if you were to give advice to your younger self, and you can pick the rebellious scale at school, you can pick the person at uni, you can pick whatever you want, even yourself last week if you really want to. Yeah, if you were to give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
I think just care about the opinions of others less, especially if they are a negative,
Hmm.
or preventing you from doing something that you really want to do and that you know that you will be good at and be happy doing.
Hmm.
Um, I definitely think that that's definitely what I would say to a younger version of myself.
It feels like, is there a story behind that? Have you ever had that in your own career where you've wanted to? You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I
I
thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I think so. I think I've had some fantastic managers, but I've also come across some that are less
Hmm.
encouraging as well. And I think it's okay to be open about this
Hmm.
because, not everything is going to be rosy throughout your
Hmm.
career. But I just had an individual say to me that I was a terrible public speaker, and
Wow.
I would be better sort of going behind the scenes, and yeah, he was really, really nasty.
Was it
But
from someone who themselves was, you know, excellent in that area, or was it someone who almost was maybe showing their own vulnerabilities or concerns? Because often people that do criticize aren't at the top of their
yeah,
game. You know what I mean? It's that kind of, trying to make himself feel better when actually, it had nothing to do with you.
I think it was just someone who didn't want me on their team. We had there was like a reorg,
Hmm.
in one of my earlier positions, and I was sort of like still doing my training after my masters and stuff, and then there was a leadership change,
Hmm.
and the person just didn't want someone that they would perhaps have to invest more time in training, and
Yeah.
would have preferred someone that could just come in and do the job, which is fair enough. But I was in the position that I was in, and I was trying to do my best, and I'll say to him, look at where I am now.
Yeah, savage. But the funny thing is, it's like I've had jobs that actually, it was really funny. One of my friends is a philosophy lecturer at Sheffield University. And I was going through a tough time at work, and I was just talking it through with him. And he basically said to me, he was like, do you feel that you're flourishing? And I was like, wow. Because for a lot of the jobs that I'd had in my career, I felt that I was like a plant or flower developing and growing and whatever.
Yeah.
And I have had jobs where it was the opposite. And going back to the creativity point, I remember once I was in a certain job, and someone who I know in the sector actually said to me at an event, oh, Steve, your posts and your stuff had really dried up. And I realised that I'd stopped doing a lot of my fun stuff, my creative, because I was unhappy. But the point is, when you go through crappy jobs, crappy times, bad bosses, whatever, you can escape them, hopefully. But then you know how not to act, and it'll make you a stronger person if you can get through. It's almost, you'd learn a lot. You arguably learn more from the bad experiences and the bad bosses than you do from the good ones.
Yeah, I'd like to think that I really like to think that I use all my experience. When I had the opportunity to build my own team and manage, when I was at the Energy Industries Council, that was really like my first opportunity to do my own recruiting, to really sort of help individuals grow and develop their own career paths. I'd like to think that range of experiences that I had with managers and mentors really helped me, and I watch people very, very carefully on what they do. I think I think that's really important. You really do learn from others and by watching others as well.